Good afternoon, everyone. This is Robin, and I'm a member of the support team over here at Shoshana Technologies. And thank you for joining me for this special guest webinar with MyQuickCloud. Joining me today is Linda Tiemann. She's the CEO of Shoshana Technologies.
Hello, everybody.
And also, our very special guest is Joni Mann. She is the Director of Business Development for MyQuickCloud, and she's going to introduce your product and kind of explain to you guys why this is going to be a really great opportunity. So take it away, Joni.
Thank you very much. What a great introduction. I want to thank everybody for being here today, and I'm very excited to be able to talk about what MyQuickCloud can do in conjunction with your Rosemark systems. And this conversation is going to center on how you can access and manage all your business information at any time, from anywhere, using any device. And so one of the things that I want to kind of start the conversation with is a little bit of a discussion about, cloud and mobility and getting to the information when you need it, where you need it, regardless of, where you might be located. We know that people need to be able to access their information, particularly in your type of a business model. You've got people that are, out in the field. You've got people that might not be carrying computers around. You have a need to be able to stay in touch with the business and the people at all times. And the cloud makes this highly possible, largely because internet access is available pretty much everywhere, including using your phone. And, there's a lot of features and functionality using just mobile devices, that folks can take advantage of, especially like in the Rosemark system. And so what we're talking about is creating that sort of mobility around the entire requirement to run the business, not just certain applications. And, when we talk about the cloud, it's pretty much come to mean pretty much anything that relies on the internet. And what the cloud really is it's an expandable network of systems. You just don't necessarily see everything that's involved in what's delivering the applications. Secure remote access when you use different types of solutions to, remote into a server or remote to a PC or remote control it. That all uses the cloud. Software as a service, which your Rosemark system is. SaaS is delivered via the cloud. The cloud is just a really big network that's made up of computers, it's made up of software, data storage networks, all the typical things that you would have on a network in your own office are the things that make up the cloud. Okay, the machines are a lot bigger and more powerful, but at the end of the day, it's still just computers, it's software, and it's networking. And it's important to understand that the cloud is really just made up of those things, because the cloud doesn't necessarily change the rules of how software and computers work. When we talk about SaaS, software as a service, this is and I put it in air quotes, the new paradigm for computing that everybody's talking about. And SaaS is really just a different way to buy software. SaaS is software as a service, is what it stands for. And it's the software and the servers as part of the service. The data is stored up in the data center and managed along with the application. You pay subscription service fees, and the software is always updated. It's there. Your data is stored. You get support. It's always available, and it's always managed. That's an online application. Rosemark is an online application. It's a SaaS solution. It's designed for the web. You're able to access your application from anywhere at any time. It's got all kinds of integration of data and things like that because it was built on the web as a single framework that allows the company to add and extend all different types of functionality and have the data all be usable by that functionality. When you've got the telephony services, all of that stuff is connecting in and delivering data into the application. So you've got folks that can, use that to check in and check out, and that maybe fills out a time card or something like that. So there's a very sophisticated way of incorporating different types of capabilities into the SaaS solution, because we've got all of those things coming in and talking over the internet into that single framework of applications. One of the other benefits of this type of an application is that it can be very easy to learn and use, because the developers have an ability to show you what you need to do to get your job done, and you don't necessarily have to see or be concerned with a lot of the technology or the complexity that sits behind it. This is one of the big benefits of a software as a service type delivery or product, is that it can be a really, really complicated solution, but the part that you interact with can be very powerful but very simple. You only have to deal with what you need to deal with. Now, on the other hand, there are products that are not maybe quite so SaaSified. QuickBooks being a good example. I've kind of gotten here fairly quickly, but the Rosemark system, I think we all know, integrates with QuickBooks. There's an ability to eliminate a lot of the back office, dual data entry and things like that. But I think that we should maybe touch on the fact that QuickBooks has both a desktop and a SaaS product. And in their case, the SaaS product, even though it is the software as a service, it's built for the web, it is an anytime, anywhere product, the functionality may be really where the big difference lies between the flavors of QuickBooks that live on the web versus the flavors of QuickBooks that live on your desktop. And Robin, do you want to maybe jump in here for a minute and touch on that maybe just a little bit?
That'd be great. Thanks, Joni. So one thing that is pretty obvious if you've ever kind of compared QuickBooks Pro and QuickBooks Online is that the feature set is very restricted. So in QuickBooks Pro, there's a lot you can do. There's a lot that Rosemark can do for you because it's this really robust accounting software. And some of those things are like, templates for your invoices, importing client and caregiver information for the sake of billing and payroll. We can, sync clients and caregivers. We can update their information. We can put in service items for you. So when you add a new type of care, Rosemark can just go ahead and put that into QuickBooks Pro for you. All that double entry right out the window. The problem with QuickBooks Online is that a lot of that stuff we can't do. And that's not just us, that's any third-party software that's trying to connect to QuickBooks Online. We cannot add caregiver information. We cannot add service items. The invoice templates are very difficult to change, and there's much less options when it comes to those templates. And so there's just, a lot of difference between what you can do with QuickBooks Pro and what you can do with QuickBooks Online. And also there's the problem of QuickBooks Online downtime, which does happen and does happen pretty often. So QuickBooks Pro doesn't really have downtime. It's always there when you need it, unless your computer, something terrible happens to your computer, but hopefully that won't happen. So QuickBooks Online, we've got that downtime, we've got restricted access for third-party softwares like us. So there is a lot of double entry you have to do because that's the way that they built it. And there's a lot of things that you really can't organize or manage the same way that you could do in QuickBooks Pro. And a lot of that comes down to boring things like accounts and service items and all that stuff. But basically, the things that Rosemark can do for you is extremely restricted when it comes to QuickBooks Online. So that's what I'll say about that. And Joni, you can take it away.
Well, and it's interesting because, I hear a lot of accounting professionals talk about the differences between QuickBooks, desktop editions and QuickBooks Online edition. And the big benefit, when they're always putting, the pros and, in one column and the cons in the other column, the one thing that always stands out in the big benefits column is anytime, anywhere access. And that to me is surprising, because anytime, anywhere access to applications, in a hosting model or in other models, can be had. One of the things that we know about using Rosemark with QuickBooks Desktop, when products integrate from a SaaS to a desktop or even two products on the desktop, there's one rule, and this is a rule of software, again, that the cloud doesn't change. In order for a product to integrate with the QuickBooks Desktop product, it has to be installed on the same computer where QuickBooks is installed. And so QuickBooks Desktop editions obviously are, desktop editions. So they're sitting on a PC, they're installed on a computer. The software is installed and it's managed on that PC, meaning you get to do that. You get to update the QuickBooks software, you get to back up, you get to manage your data. So, the benefit to the SaaS application, the benefit of having the software installed and managed, software updated at all times, the data backed up and all those kinds of things, those are benefits that are attributed to the SaaS solution because you pay for that as part of the service. But when you've got a desktop software product, you don't generally have those types of benefits available to you. And so MyQuickCloud is a unique solution that's presented itself and made itself available in the market to solve two big issues around the QuickBooks Desktop product. And which issue it solves for you, if it solves one or the other, or maybe both, really depends on where you see the challenge. What MyQuickCloud can do is create secure remote access to your applications, give you the ability to access your software at any time, from anywhere, using any device. You can support multi-user products, so if you and another person need to be in QuickBooks, for example, at the same time, provided you've got, the right QuickBooks licensing, you can both be in QuickBooks at the same time in multi-user mode. The data encryption that MyQuickCloud provides makes sure that all of the information that's traversing over the internet is fully encrypted and is safe. Because we're talking about a remote access solution, the data stays safely on the host and is never transferred between different computers. And so a remote access solution like MyQuickCloud keeps your data much safer than Dropbox or other types of sync solutions where you might, actually be moving that data file around. And MyQuickCloud, more importantly, makes managing the cloud very, very simple, regardless of what kind of cloud you decide that you want to build for your company. And remember that when we're talking about the cloud, we're still talking about computers in software and networks and internet access and all of those kinds of things. So one of the things that MyQuickCloud does for you, or can do for you, is run your applications on cloud servers so that your software is installed and maintained for you. Your servers are managed at all times. Your data is backed up every night. And like a SaaS solution, except for you have to provide the software, we manage and maintain the systems and give you access to that software anytime, anywhere. We use the Amazon EC2 cloud, so it's an elastic cloud. That's my little fat pants man, that's what Liz calls him. Because it's elastic, right? It can grow with your business. And so when you have the software installed, managed, and maintained in our managed hosting environment, you have all of those benefits of the SaaS solution in terms of the software being dealt with for you. The systems are backed up. You don't have to maintain everything on your PCs. It's multi-user, all of those kinds of things. But fundamentally, MyQuickCloud is a secure remote access solution. It doesn't mean that you have to use our servers. And this is where we are able to do something that is unique in the market, something that no other hosting provider can deliver. We can create a hosting environment on your own computers. We create secure remote access to the QuickBooks and other software that might be installed on your own PCs and your own networks. So you can still have that anytime, anywhere access to your QuickBooks and all of your different, your Office applications, Word and Excel and what have you, all of your different data files, your company data, etc., because you can turn your own computer into a cloud host. And where we differ from, say log me in or go to my PC or one of those types of remote control types of solutions, we can create single or multi-user access to applications. So let's say that you've got QuickBooks sitting on a PC in your office and you've got your Rosemark integration happening there, and you want to be able to get remote access to your QuickBooks just like you have, anytime, anywhere access to your Rosemark. Well, using MyQuickCloud, you can turn your own PC with QuickBooks into a host computer so that you have the ability to literally log into that computer from anywhere. And so, oops, I didn't want to do that, but here, I'm going to bail out of the presentation for 1 second. I want to get back there because what I want to show you is logging into a host computer using MyQuickCloud. And so the key here is, do I remember my own password? Magic, I remember my password.
Nice job. It's a struggle for all of us.
It's like, woo. Well, that's, we will just touch on that very briefly. Security management is huge. There's so many different ways for people to mess with other people's systems these days. And a remote access product needs to help you keep your system secure. And so that feature that you just saw where I had to log into my dashboard, that's another layer of security that we provide with the MyQuickCloud system. I can have a remote desktop open, and here, let's just do this. This happens to be a desktop that I'm connecting to that is on Elizabeth's laptop that's in a different part of the office. And so I could connect to her PC. Her PC is set up as a host. And now that I've connected to that computer, I can access pretty much anything that is installed on it. And so in this case, let's go play with OpenOffice Writer. I've never launched it, so it's probably, oh look, yeah, never mind. But the point is that I was able to very, very quickly connect to that remote computer and have access to all of my files. I have access to all of my applications, everything that I need on that computer. And I can log out of it very quickly. Bingo. Now I've signed out and I'm back to my dashboard. I would challenge any hosting system to deliver that sort of speed in terms of connecting in, logging in, and then again being able to close and log out of the desktop. Now, one of the big benefits of MyQuickCloud is not just the remote desktop access. One of the big benefits is what's called the published app or a remote app. So in this case, instead of Elizabeth giving me access to the entire desktop on her computer, meaning I can access every application that's installed there, she's elected just to give me access to WordPad. Thanks, Liz. WordPad's really exciting. But beyond that, this is WordPad. It's a way for you to be able to deliver remote access to targeted individual applications, not necessarily just one app, because maybe I want to give a remote bookkeeper access to QuickBooks and Excel, or I want to give access to somebody else just Word or, something along those lines.
Hey,
You have
Jenny.
the ability, yes.
So basically what you're saying is that you could give that remote accountant access to Rosemark and QuickBooks, and that's it. So they wouldn't be able to see any other files or applications on that host computer?
Absolutely. That is exactly what we're saying. And what's more, that remote bookkeeper or accountant could run QuickBooks while you're sitting at your computer doing whatever it is that you do at your computer, including running QuickBooks. If it's a 2-user license, for example, on that computer, then both parties can be in QuickBooks and in the same company file at exactly the same time running in multi-user mode. So having a remote accountant or something like that come in and run QuickBooks and Rosemark on that PC doesn't preclude you from still using your computer. It's not one of those remote control things that's going to take over the machine. They're literally getting their own little hosted session on your computer so that you're both able to work simultaneously.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, so you could be doing whatever you need to do on your computer, maybe in Rosemark, while your accountant at the exact same time is running invoices.
That's exactly correct. That's
great.
exactly correct. And there's a feature, I haven't actually used it, but one of the features also that is available with MyQuickCloud is the ability to print locally, which means to the computer that you're sitting at the time, or print back to the host. So in concept, you could have, a bookkeeper or an accountant or something like that preparing your payroll checks and literally printing them at a printer in your office on your own check stock.
Man, that is really cool.
So yeah, and that honestly is why I'm a huge fan of the MyQuickCloud solution. Some of your folks might know, that I come from QuickBooks hosting land, and have worked with a number of the different hosting providers. And having QuickBooks in the cloud is really awesome. But when we're talking about putting it in the cloud, we're not necessarily saying you have to pick it up and move it to someone else's house. You can keep it at your house on your servers, okay, on your PC, and still have the benefits of cloud in terms of access and mobility. And, going back to that conversation of those folks that were, doing the pros and cons between QuickBooks Pro and QuickBooks Online, or, QuickBooks Desktop and QuickBooks Online, the pro was always mobility. It was, the one thing that stood out with the QuickBooks Online system was, anytime, anywhere access. So using MyQuickCloud, you can have anytime, anywhere access. We create your cloud. We create that ability for you to not just have the Rosemark application where and when you need it, but for you to be able to have your QuickBooks, anything else that you've got installed on that computer available, anytime, anywhere. And so, just to kind of close a little bit of the conversation, we want to make sure that everybody knows that it's very easy to get started with MyQuickCloud. When you use MyQuickCloud, let's say that you've contacted Robin to say, hey, I want to try this thing out. You don't have to go through a big setup process. You don't have to, do a lot of configuration on your computers. When you create MyQuickCloud users, and let's kind of go back here to the QuickCloud interface, and I'm the administrator of my own cloud, of course, and so I can create any user that I want in my own cloud with my users. Here, we'll go mess with Liz a little bit. We can decide whether we want her to be an admin or not, and, manage passwords, etc. And then we can also decide what applications that we want this user to have. And let's say, for example, that we want to change the fact that Liz has access to 2 apps. Maybe we want to give her access to one other thing, and then maybe we'll take away access to WordPad. So it's very easy to manage access for your different users. So let's say, again, for you've got, as Robin suggested, a remote bookkeeper that you want to have access to just Rosemark and just QuickBooks. Well, in this case, we're in apps, so I want to create a new thing. And in this case, I'm going to create a new virtual application. Oops, I didn't need to do that. I want a virtual where's my virtual application? And I'm going to create that virtual application on Elizabeth's desktop. And here's where I can search for different applications that I want to publish. Now, she doesn't have QuickBooks installed on this computer, so I'm going to look for something having to do with OpenOffice. So we'll call it OpenOffice Calc. And now she can have permission to OpenOffice Calc. And so when Elizabeth goes to log in, on her dashboard, she'll have that application. Now, I also want to have that application. I automatically got it. I'm an admin. That's kind of cool. So now, when I go to my dashboard in my QuickCloud, I have the OpenOffice Calc app, which I'll be able to just immediately launch off of Elizabeth's computer. And I've never launched OpenOffice Calc before, so of course it's going to want to run me through the whole, give me your name and all that kind of stuff. So just that simple in terms of, installing my QuickCloud on a host computer, publishing a desktop or an application from that computer, and then making that application or desktop available to any other user. Now see, here's that security feature kicked in again. I've got my console set to log after so many minutes of inactivity, and so it came in and logged itself. I have to enter my username and password again now to get to that console. And I did it just a half an hour ago, and magic, I remembered it still. But if I had OpenOffice, if I had my desktop, one of these applications open, the application is not going to lock up and time me out, but my console is, my dashboard. So it gives you a little bit of protection and security in terms of people walking up to your computer and being able to change, things in your cloud if you're an administrator, for example. But it's not going to interrupt your work. If you've got a desktop or an application open, it's not just going to time that out and go to sleep and force you to launch that application or that desktop again.
So you wouldn't lose any of your work if you got logged out of the QuickCloud. You wouldn't have to, I don't know, lose whatever novel you were writing in, let's say, Microsoft Word.
Exactly. And that's actually a really good point. So I'm going to launch WordPad again just to kind of show one other little feature of the MyQuickCloud. So you'll notice that when we launch this application, I'm going to call it a workspace that lives behind that. Well, I imagine most of us understand that the software still has to run on a Windows computer. And Windows can be kind of finicky sometimes. And particularly when you're talking about the Office applications, they have that auto-save feature where they're auto-saving the document, and then if your computer explodes while you're in the middle of a document, it can generally recover those auto-save documents. Well, with many remote access technologies, pure Microsoft Remote Desktop, Citrix, a lot of those others, when they create this remote application, it's just the app. And there's kind of a little baby Windows session that's sitting behind the application. And so as long as that application is open and your session is open, those auto-save features work. But the minute that your session dumps, takes a nosedive, dies, however you want to call it, disconnects, as soon as it crashes, that workspace is gone. So your auto saves, your, your recovery files, those kinds of things just kind of don't exist anymore. With MyQuickCloud, it doesn't work that way. We create this workspace, and you can see the workspace that sits behind this application. And what that is it's kind of like we're hanging out in Windows, letting those autosave documents and those recovery actions go to work. And so if the application were to crash, that workspace is still there. And it does still hold on to those recovery documents. Now, not all software does that for you. That's, one of kind of the cool things of Microsoft Office. But the fact that it does it is, oh my gosh, a lifesaver for so many people if you've ever lost, your novel or a huge spreadsheet or whatever. And so this, again, is just one of the things that MyQuickCloud does is we recognize that those applications might be operating in that workspace. And so if the application were to die, and in this case, I'll just close it, the workspace remains and allows the application to be recovered, allows that data to be recovered so you don't lose it. So anyway, I wanted to make that point because that is something that is unique with MyQuickCloud that literally does not exist with a lot of the other, quote unquote, remote access type technologies. Benefits, okay, we already talked about, you can log into your own computer or you could use one of ours. The host can be at your house or our house. Remote user access, we're letting you only give access to the applications, to the data, to the specific items that you want that remote user to have. If that remote user is you and you're the business owner, you're running the place, well, obviously, publish the desktop, give yourself everything. You can even log into your computer as your regular local computer user. You don't have to necessarily even log in as a remote user per se when you enter your username and password. We can tell MyQuickCloud to not automatically launch that. Let me see, where is that, Elizabeth? It's a feature.
Are you talking about launching directly into a user?
Yeah, the auto login thing.
Yeah, you click on the edit button next to an app or whatever.
Okay. Oh, there it is.
And you uncheck the box auto login.
Okay, so I don't want on the twist because the twist is not alive right now. So we'll go like this. This is Liz's desktop. And so, okay, cool. So it's updated that. So now when I go to log into Elizabeth's desktop, rather than, okay, well, I obviously clicked on the wrong thing because maybe I needed to refresh that. I bet I did. I love it when the demo doesn't do what you want it to do. So I'm going to try it one more time. Bear with me because I know that this can happen. So this is on the desktop. Okay. I'm just refreshing everything. Make sure we're nice and fresh. Now let's see if I clicked on the right thing. There it is. Okay, so instead of automatically logging me in as a MyQuickCloud remote user, you can tell the system to just stop and let you log in as yourself. And that way, especially like with a Windows 10 computer, you've got all kinds of personalization. Here, I'll bail out of this for you. All kinds of personalization and things like that you might have done to your machine that you really don't want to have to reinvent for a remote user access. And so MyQuickCloud, it's still going to give you all of the remote access. It's still going to give you the printing support. You can still use, the Windows, Mac, iOS, and Android clients on your various devices, but you can log into your computer as yourself and have your normal workspace, your normal desktop, etc., at the same time that you're also allowing other users to log in as remote users into your various applications And so, you know, the big difference between running it off your own computer, running MyQuickCloud off of our computer, again, we turn it into something that seems a little bit more like a SaaS solution. We manage and maintain the cloud for you. It's always backed up. We keep it secure, firewalled. It's available directly in the MyQuickCloud interface. So, you know, again, if we have the host, all that means is that one of these computers is at our house, not your house. And that's very similar to, for example, this host computer that happens to be in the data center at Skyline as opposed to one of the MyQuickCloud servers. So you can have your host computer anywhere you want. Let's say, just for the sake of argument, you've got an IT guy who really wants you to have your own little server over at Rackspace. That's okay. Put MyQuickCloud on that host computer, and now you can use MyQuickCloud to securely and remotely access your applications and your data. It doesn't really matter where the host is. We simply offer our hosting solution, our cloud servers, as one option for your business. But with MyQuickCloud,
I have a question for you.
Sure. Sure.
So just to be clear, so you're saying if you create a host situation on my computer, a server on my computer, that means the backups are still happening the same as if you were the host server, correct? How does that work?
No. That's the big difference
Okay.
between having the host at our house versus your house, for example. If you are the host computer, we're simply creating secure remote access to your systems, but you're still responsible for the installation and the maintenance of your software. You're still responsible for backing your systems up, you know, all of those things that you do already, you know, for your own systems. MyQuickCloud simply sits on top of that and creates that secure remote access cloud. Now,
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah. So that's really the benefit of a MyQuickCloud cloud server. When you use one of our hosted servers instead of keeping it on your PC, we manage and maintain everything. We back it up. We secure it. We keep it available for you. We don't charge extra for additional software products that you have us install on those servers. Some hosting providers, you know, charge extra for different applications that you might want to have installed. We have very flexible configurations that allow us to, you know, grow those servers at any time. Like I said, remember the guy with the little fat pants is, you know, it's elastic. And MyQuickCloud is the most affordable custom hosting solution available. And so that pretty much does it for my presentation. I would like very much to open it up to questions and answers, if there are any questions out there.
If anyone does have any questions, we'd be happy to have you speak up. Just raise your hand there. It should be a little button on the right-hand side of your GoToWebinar panel. I'm going to mention a quick thing of, I know that there's a lot of agencies out there that maybe have not great business practices when it comes to getting their QuickBooks Pro around. Maybe they have a laptop that they just kind of hand off to people and they take that laptop home sometimes, or you know, they do like a log me in situation or something like that. And there's, you know, especially with HIPAA concerns, there's a lot to be said for making sure that your information is as secure as you can get it. Okay, well, if anyone does have any questions after the webinar, I'd be very happy to talk to you about our new partnership with MyQuickCloud and any questions you might have. If you're interested in maybe, you know, getting a little more information, something that might work for you, might help you with your QuickBooks situation, please feel free to give us a call. That number is 734-662-3537, or you can email support@shoshana.com. That's support@shoshana.com, SHOSHANA.com. Right, any last words there, Joni? Thank you so much.
I just want to thank everybody for having us here today, and it was a pleasure. And We look forward to working with you.
Okay, great. And the very last thing is I'm going to make this webinar available in the Customer Center on our website in about a day or so after I make the video look real nice. And also I'll make Joni's presentation available as a PDF if you're interested in just, perusing it at your own pace. So be on the lookout for that on the Customer Center in our website. Thanks again, Joni.
Thank you very much.
Bye now.